All right, man, peace. So now this is going to be my preview for tonight's mega bout between Terence Crawford and Jeff Horn. They'll both be battling for Jeff Horn's WBO welterweight title. Of course, for those of you brothers who follow boxing, you know that this is a major stepping stone fight for Mr. Terence Crawford. And the test for him is going to be the same test that occurs for every great fighter who moves up in weight. And that's going to be two major things. Will he still be as light on his feet as he was at his previous weight? And will his power carry up from his previous weight? Those are the two major factors that you always have to watch for every great fighter moving up in weight. And sometimes we all know that a fighter's power does not carry up. But if he is a transcendent boxer, a great technician, a great tactician, he can overcome those deficits. And I have a feeling that we're going to have to find out some things about Terence Crawford tonight, because I believe that this fight may be a bit more difficult than many people assume. Jeff Horn, he is a dog. He's not someone who's going to give up. We saw him against Manny Pacquiao. I thought Pacquiao beat him. But Jeff Horn is somebody who's going to take a serious ass whooping. That's why I say this is going to be a referendum on Terence Crawford. We'll be able to gauge exactly how good he is based off of comparing his performance to Pacquiao's performance against Jeff Horn. Because as far as I'm concerned, Pacquiao, even as old as he is, if he's not the hardest hitter at welterweight, because, you know, Errol Spence is probably the hardest puncher just because he's so strong and so big. It's probably Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, and then Pacquiao. Pacquiao's still one of the hardest punchers at welterweight. So if Terence Crawford moves up in weight and is able to stop Jeff Horn in round 6 or 7, then we know he should have very little trouble at welterweight in regards to his power being able to affect many of his opponents. But if the fight goes the distance and Jeff Horn shows himself to be the same nuisance against Terence Crawford that he was against Manny Pacquiao, we'll have to wonder, will Terence be able to enforce his will on fighters at 147 like he was at 135 and 140? And then, of course, we have to see if his chin can take the punches from fighters at 147. Because for many of us who remember how Terence Crawford first came into prominence, it was a fight at 135 against Yuriorkis Gamboa, in which Crawford was hurt more than once in that fight. So once again, we're going to find out many things. Now, what Terence Crawford is going to have to watch out for with Jeff Horn is that, once again, he's very strong. He's going to be in great condition. He's very rugged, and he's very awkward. He does square his shoulders up, and he likes to lean in. He falls in with his right hand lead. So expect Crawford to turn southpaw throughout this fight, and he may try to counter Jeff Horn's right hand lead by stepping over to the right and catching him with a right uppercut if Crawford is in an orthodox stance. And if he decides that he's going to go southpaw and Horn tries to fall in with that right hand lead, then Crawford will just try to step to his right and hit him with a right hand check hook. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a very, very interesting bout. We're going to find out a lot about Mr. Terence Crawford tonight, who I expect to win. If you're asking me for my prediction, I'll say that Terence Crawford lives up to the billing and he gets a 10th round stoppage. 10th round TKO, most likely due to cuts. We'll see. And do I believe that Jeff Horn has a chance to win the fight? Well, of course, anybody who's determined and well-trained and has two hands and comes into the fight healthy, he'll have a chance. Now, for those of us who saw the weigh-in, Jeff Horn supposedly had an issue making weight. He claimed that the scales were rigged. In the aftermath of the debacle at the initial weigh-in, he subsequently made weight. So did he make weight because he went to another scale and the scale read that he was 147, or did he make weight because he had to spend an hour in the sauna and on the exercise bike and on the treadmill? Because that may take a toll, that may show in tonight's fight. We're going to find out. And of course, I do believe that Jeff Horn has a remote chance of winning the fight, as every fighter does who's already a champion, and he is a champion, but I just don't see it. He does not have one-punch knockout power. But once again, we're going to see whether or not Terence Crawford can take punches at that weight class, because he has shown susceptibility in the lower weight classes to certain fighters' punching power. But anyway, once again, I have Terence Crawford by 10th round TKO. I think that his footwork is going to be too much for Jeff Horn. I think that his body attack is going to be too much for Jeff Horn. I think that his countering is going to be too much for Jeff Horn, especially if Jeff Horn tries to fall in with that right hand lead. I think he's going to get countered all night, and he'll probably get stopped late. Peace.